Major Isaac N. Kreider.
Installed, we humbly ask that this day of new beginnings would mark out a path for the future of this command in professionalism, excellence, virtue, and character. We commit this command to you and desire that this unit may exude superiority in every facet of its existence. I pray specifically for the new command team who were installed today. These are leaders who have tremendous experience and whose reputations of excellence precede them. And yet, like all of us, they are but men who desperately need wisdom from on high. Your word promises that if we request wisdom of you, that you will give it liberally. And so I pray that you would provide them with wisdom, understanding, and prudence. Help them to lead with honor, diligence, fortitude, and absolute integrity. May you give them good success and the wherewithal to
symbolizing the bright future between her and the Arctic Aviation Command families. Their sons, Ben and Nathan, are being presented gifts, and daughters, Autumn and Margaret, are receiving a... At this time, Corporal Simon will present a bouquet of yellow roses to Mrs. Shelley Hansen, symbolizing the bright future between her and the Arctic Aviation Command families. Their children, Tyler and Alyssa, are receiving gifts, welcoming them into the Arctic Aviation.
Officers in colors, center, march!
You are now seeing a movement known as Colored Center March. This activity stems from early Roman days, when the leaders laid down their weapons and shields and came forward to their emperor.
Judgment! Forward! March! March down! March! Detachment! Hold!
Of a unit's assumption of a new mission and commemorates new beginnings and the continuation of the Arctic Aviation Command carrying out of the finest of traditions of the United States Army. In accordance with Headquarters, Department of the Army, Executive Order 325-23, and by the authority of Army Regulations 71-32, Section 2, Paragraph 7-7, the Arctic Aviation Command is officially activated, effective 8 August 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause for the activation of the Arctic Aviation Elements of the Command will be embodied in these colors and represent not only the heritage and the history of the unit, but also the unity and loyalty of its soldiers. The colors are the commander's symbol of authority, representing their responsibilities to the organization. Wherever the commander is, there also are the colors. The custodian of the colors is the Command Sergeant Major. As the senior enlisted soldier in the Arctic Aviation Command, he is both the spokesperson for the loyalty and concerns of the soldiers and a principal advisor to the commander. The custodian of the saber is the Command Chief Warrant Officer. The ceremonial saber remains a visual reminder of the strength and fidelity of the position it represents as the principal military advisor to the commander on all matters affecting warrant officer training, utilization, and professional development. With the passing of the colors in the ceremonial saber, the three members of the Arctic Aviation Command Group assume their roles as Commander, Command Chief Warrant Officer, and Command Sergeant Major. Command Sergeant Major Rivera passes the colors to Major General Hilbert. Major General Hilbert will now pass the colors, and all they represent to Colonel Vanderlip, who assumes command of the unit. By authority of Army Regulations 600-20, paragraph 2-5 Charlie, the undersigned assumes command of the Arctic Aviation Command, effective 8 August 2024. Signed, Russell W. Vanderlip, Colonel, Aviation Commanding. Colonel Vanderlip now returns the colors to Command Sergeant Major Rivera, who assumes responsibility as Command Sergeant Major of Arctic Aviation Command, charged with maintaining the symbol of command. By passing the colors, the commander has placed special trust and confidence in the patriotism, dedication, integrity, and leadership abilities of Command Sergeant Major Rivera, appointing him as Command Sergeant Major of the Arctic Aviation Command. Finally, Command Sergeant Major
This environment, the environment of the Arctic, we know it's dynamic. It's ever-changing. It requires soldiers and leaders that are masters of the fundamentals. It requires them to be adaptive enough to thrive, fight, and win. Success here in the Arctic depends on the knowledge that can only be learned by living and working here. The activation of the Arctic Aviation Command, that means that we now have direct command and control of the people and platforms and leaders who operate here that are going to make those tough decisions at the speed that the Arctic requires. The true test of any person or platform here is in the extremes, like when it's 50 below, or when you're operating at high altitudes, or when you're operating at high latitudes where maybe your satellite communications don't work like they do in the lower 48. What we now have is a command in place that understands those extremes, that a command that can help soldiers take the lessons learned here and export them to the joint force and to our allies and partners worldwide.
We're comfortably seated in this hangar right now. It's a beautiful August day. Everyone loves Alaska in August. But I'd like to fast forward 5 months to January and imagine these large hangar doors creaking open and an Arctic blast of -40 or -50 air fills the hangar as these Arctic soldiers pull out an age 64 Apache and drag it out on the ramp where it's covered with snow, and they're surrounded by complete darkness of the Arctic night, only pierced by the aurora over Birch Hill. This is the lasting image of the Arctic tough, and these soldiers get it. Not only can they accomplish their mission here, they remain ready to deploy anywhere at our nation's call. So please join me in recognizing the men and women that make our nation, our Army, and our division great. All right, to the fine soldiers of the Arctic Aviation Command, the wings of the Arctic, standing before you today. There is no other aviation formation anywhere in the world that possesses your level of skill and innovation required to operate here in the Arctic, where it's tougher, more austere, where the stakes are so high that a single mistake at -40 or colder could mean life or death. As your commander, I'm thankful that each of you volunteered to serve. I look forward to serving with you, alongside you, modeling servant leadership. It was my #1 choice to command this formation, and I, along with our command team, promise to work for you each and every day. You have our trust, and we've got your back. Our motto, Above the Angels, speaks to the sacred trust of always supporting the ground forces of 11th Division's Arctic Angels from above, through missions ranging from aerial attack, air assault, medevac, the list goes on. But you'll see these helicopters flying every day above Ladd Army Airfield and across Alaska. As we look to our future, our activation gives 11th Airborne Division dedicated aviation assets that enhance aviation operations, not only throughout Alaska and the Arctic, but wherever the Arctic Angels may be asked to deploy.